Granada Reports, live with the latest across the northwest.
Hello, thanks for joining us. Here are some of the stories we have for you tonight.
He was high on cocaine, had no licence or insurance, and even ignored doctors' advice not to drive. Tonight, Dad Daniel Berber starts a jail sentence for causing the motorway crash which killed his teenage son.
Daniel Berber will have the rest of his life to reflect upon the catastrophic consequences his decision to consume drugs and then get behind the wheel have had. Sadly, his son, Ryan Morgan, will not.
How Mike's early death may have saved his family from a killer condition suffered by millions worldwide, but often undetected.
Save our war memorial!
How a village turned out in force when we arrived to report on the memorial to fallen heroes caught up in a row over health and safety.
From the front line in Afghanistan to the full length of Route 66, how former Royal Marine Aaron is planning to defy disability to cycle across America.
And we've had to dodge the showers somewhat today, but there's some more settled news on the horizon. I'll have all the details in the weather forecast later on.
So first, the teenage boy killed after his father got behind the wheel of a van while high on cocaine.
Ryan Morgan was just 14. He desperately grabbed the steering wheel as the van careered across the M6 motorway near Lancaster in April.
Yeah, but it was too late. Ryan suffered catastrophic injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene. His father, Daniel Berber, escaped almost unscathed.
Emma Sweeney is at Preston Crown Court, where Berber was today jailed for 10 years. Emma, Berber's use of cocaine wasn't the only reason he shouldn't have been behind the wheel.
Oh. Indeed, Rob, there were a number of different reasons. He didn't have a valid driving licence, he only had a provisional licence, he wasn't insured, and he'd been told by doctors that because of his epilepsy, well, he shouldn't be driving at all. The same doctors told him that he shouldn't be taking cocaine because that predisposed him to having further epileptic fits. But Daniel Berber decided to take heed of none of this. CCTV footage from the day in question captured Berber as he went into a petrol station. After this, he went back to his car where he had an epileptic fit while 4 times over the legal drug drive limit. This all unfolded on the 20th of April of this year. It was a dry, bright bank holiday Sunday, and the court heard how Berber was witnessed driving erratically on the M6 before the van he was driving in left the carriageway and hit a tree. Eyewitnesses described seeing Ryan Morgan, Daniel's son, looking terrified as he attempted to steer the van from the passenger seat. Today, the judge in this case said that Ryan had appreciated for a number of seconds that he was at risk of dying. Daniel Berber simply looked straight ahead of him today in court as he was told of his fate, and this is what the police said on the steps afterwards.
No sentence will ever make up for the loss of life, particularly in these tragic circumstances. However, Daniel Berber will have the rest of his life to reflect upon the catastrophic consequences his decision to consume drugs and then get behind the wheel have had. Sadly, his son, Ryan Morgan, will not.
And Emma, the court was told about the impact Ryan's death has had on his family.
Well, that's right, Katie. A number of statements were read out on behalf of family members. Ryan's biological mother said that her son had wanted to be a policeman. She said he had wanted to change the world. No amount of time, she said, would ever be enough for taking Ryan's life. His 13-year-old sister said that the death of her brother had left a hole in her heart. Well, Ryan's grandmother said that on the day Ryan died, something died in her too. Now, as well as being told that he would serve 10 years behind bars today, Daniel Berber was also told that he would be disqualified from driving for 14 and a half years.
Play Coral's free Golden Reward Shaker and win bigger.
Qualified from driving for 14 and a half years.
OK, Emma at Preston Crown Court, thanks so much.
The sudden and tragic death of a man in Cheshire may have gone on to save the lives of his family.
Yeah, Mike Clark was only 29 when he had a fatal heart attack, but tests revealed a genetic killer condition suffered by many, but often undetected.
It led to a potential life-saving diagnosis for a number of his relatives. Tim Scott's been to meet some of them who hope to encourage more people to get tested.
10 years ago, Mike Clark had a heart attack playing football. He was treated in hospital and had 2 stents fitted, but within a week he had another heart attack and died, aged just 29. Mike's surviving brother is Simon.
For someone so young, for that to happen to them, must have been so devastating for the family.
Oh, it was the worst thing that's ever happened to us. It was, the worst time of my life. I don't wish it upon anyone.
Blood tests revealed Mike had high cholesterol. After his death, his family were tested and they were also found to have a similar condition.
We've always kind of been aware that our family's had an issue with high cholesterol from as long as I can remember, from my nan to my mum, but it always seemed to just be the females.
With so many in his family testing positive for high cholesterol, Simon's doctor referred him to a pilot screening for familial hypercholesterolemia, or FH, a hereditary genetic condition that causes extremely high cholesterol from birth and significantly increases the risk of early heart disease if left untreated. Simon's tests through NHS Cheshire and Merseyside then revealed he does have FH.
Effectively go to the heads of the family first. So within my side, it was my mum and my sister. They confirmed to have FH, so it then meant that my children and my sister's children, when they come of age, which will be 8, can also be tested to see if they have it. So there isn't a 100% chance that we've passed it on. It is only 50%.
In respect to familial hypercholesterolemia, the earlier you pick it up, the more chance you have of actually never having an event. We have evidence that early treatment means that you can actually reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease to the same level as people who don't have FH.
The treatment for FH is simple medication. Now, Simon and the rest of his family are encouraging everyone to get tested and perhaps save lives.
The treatment is very easy. It's medication. Unfortunately, as I've got older, my medication has not kept mine down, so I now have an injection once a fortnight as well.
It's that simple and that easy.
Yeah, very simple and very easy.
Tim Scott, ITV News, Winsford.
OK, well, let's take a look at some other stories making the headlines tonight. And survivors and bereaved families of the Summerland fire have issued an ultimatum to the Manx Attorney General's decision to deny them a fresh inquest into the disaster. The lawyer representing the campaign says the Isle of Man's decision not to hold an inquest is, quote, grounded in multiple alleged misdirections in law and procedural irregularities. The island's been given 10 days to respond before the case is taken to the High Court.
A teenager has been charged with murder following the death of a 19-year-old man in Bury. Mohammed Afzal, known to his loved ones as Issa, was stabbed to death in a car park near Bury College. Abbas Hussain of Windsor Crescent in Prestwich has appeared before magistrates in Manchester. He'll appear in court again on Thursday.
Now, a war memorial is causing a war of words in a quiet village in West Lancashire.
Yeah, the memorial in Scaresbrick is currently fenced off. The trustees of the nearby village hall say the paving stones leading to it are unsafe. They believe the memorial needs to be moved somewhere else.
Yeah, but residents say their money paid for the memorial and the village hall, and they want the memorial to say exactly where it is.
Our reporter Andrew Fletcher went to Scaresbrick to gauge the mood.
Save our war memorial!
A village on the march in defence of its war memorial. The monument was paid for by the villagers of Scaresbrick and erected in 2016 in the grounds of the village hall. Now the trustees of the hall want the parish council to move it to another site in the village.
Well, this is the memorial book.
John Herberts was on the committee that researched the stories of those young men from the village who gave their lives in the First World War and created the memorial in their memory.
You don't want a memorial that's out of the way, sidelined. You want it up front where people can see it. So it's in pride of place by the door. Everybody's got to pass it as they go into the hall. But why is it important to these people? The people that are named on that are their people. The family names on it are still very strong.
My grandfather's brother died in the 1914 war, and he's on that stone. He's engraved in the stone, and his name was Thomas Tinsley. I just feel strongly that this should stay where it is. We actually paid to... paid to get it put there. Not just for my granddad, but for everybody's granddads.
The trustees of the village hall, which they've recently renamed the venue Scaresbrick, say the path around the memorial has become unsafe. They've accused the parish council of failing to maintain it, but the council's chair says they're happy to carry out the repairs.
The trust have asked for repairs, so if we offer to do them, it's incumbent upon them really to allow us to go ahead with that. And also we will make it clear what the position is. And we wait to see what their response is.
Well, this is as close as we can get to the war memorial. The trustees have told us this is private land and we're not allowed to film on it. They didn't want to be interviewed for this report, but they have given us a statement in which they say they're open to discussions with the parish council about how to resolve this dispute. The trustees say they have the utmost respect for all servicemen and women and understand it may be upsetting for some members of the community for the monument to be relocated within Scaresbrick. That upset does not take away the legal and safeguarding responsibilities the trustees of the venue Scaresbrick have to uphold. But the local MP says the trust also has responsibilities to the community, and she's asking them for an urgent meeting.
I'm assuming that the trustees want to do what's best for the community, so I want to speak to them to find out how they're proposing to do that, what they're trying to achieve. If we can't get a solution and a resolution out of that, then we'll have to see what the Charity Commission think and really explore how things are going to move forward, because it's perfectly clear that the community this is meant to serve are not happy.
The protesters say they won't be happy until they're told that their memorial can stay in its place. Andrew Fletcher, ITV News in Scarisbrick.
It's quite the turnout in Scarisbrick there. We will let you know if anything develops on that story.
Yeah, time now for a look at what's to come on the national news at 6:30. Here's Lucrezia.
Coming up, the Channel migrant crisis. The Home Secretary refuses to say how many people who arrive on boats could be returned to France on the day a new scheme comes into force. A Danish zoo sparks outrage after asking people to donate their unwanted pets as food for its predators. And the Eurostar with a special victory parade and a bus to call her own. The homecoming for Lauren Hemp. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.